My own son, Abu, 7 years, who never even read that. That is not Greek or Latin or Arabic. So I asked them to read. After I back to Israel. Then one woman, number 65, said, "It's not circumstance, cheap." She was saying, "Yes, sir. It's not circumstance, cheap." Then I asked him, "Oh my, how old is this 65? How long have you been a Muslim?" He said, "I prayed at the age of 25, 20. I think the man should be dead by now, because I'm 30 years ago." That's a woman. So for 40 years, this has been reading. This is another life. So I told my colleague, we are here to only teach Suratul Faatiha. Because if you do not know, you'll never know until you learn. No matter how big you are. Just like the case of he was one of the security men at Confirmation. I got to a place he was performing ablution. You know, scholars have debated over the use of socks. When you wear it when you are performing ablution. And the position adopted by Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, because he based it on a hadith by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, makes more sense. Because Abu Sa'id al-Khudri he gives us a lot of account of the Prophet's ablution. So he says that that the Prophet used to wear the two socks because Jorah at the time. The Prophet used to wear them when he was in a state of purity. And state of purity is attained after washing the left foot. So when you wash the right, you are still incomplete. Your purity is not intact. So you have to wash the left foot. So Ahmad bin Hanbal says that if the person has to be in a state of purity, it means you have first performing ablution. Thereafter, you can wear your socks. So I saw this elderly person. He washed the right foot and then wore the socks. Washed the left and wore the socks. Then I approached him to correct him. Then he fled up. Yeah, I know. It's the format of telling that you were there. But what has that got to do with the mistake you are committing? This is knowledge, and until you learn, you remain in that stage. Answers Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Lord. Interpreted in English simply as in the name of Allah, most gracious, the most merciful. In fact, you cannot interpret this expression, Bismillah, without going all the way back to the first revelation. Most commentators link up the two. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. In fact, it leads us to something, and that is also recorded in hadith of the Prophet. The Prophet says that any activity that you do without mentioning the name of Allah first, that thing is out there. That is, it won't give you any good results. And it is again this background that the Prophet, when he responded to the invitation or the instruction of Jibreel that read, then he will respond, "My enemy Qari, I'm not a reader." But when Jibreel added, "Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq," the read in the name of thy Lord, he was able to read. So the expression Bismillah is of utmost importance to us. And imagine the Prophet in the hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah and Muslim. The Prophet told the small boy, "Ya Ghulam, Samillah wa kul bi yaminik wa kul mimma yalik." The Prophet instructed a small boy, let's say 10 years. He said, "Ya Ghulam, So 2 other brothers plus the groom. And the wife has prepared good Joseph. I'm just trying to analyze that segment of the hadith which says that you should read from the portion that is before you. The Prophet taught us everything, even the way we should eat. This religion is very comprehensive. So the Prophet told the young guy that apart from saying Bismillah and using your right hand, he also instructed him to eat from the portion that is before you. Because there is a tendency that you move into somebody's territory. It's possible that you are eating here and then you jump here. Especially when Hajjah Fatih brings the food and the Zaboon and the brothers are eating. The meat might have gone to the portion of Zaboon. So there is a tendency that you invade that territory. Even though the meat belongs to all of you, your brother will get irritated if you move into that territory. So the Prophet is giving us even etiquette in human relations, in dealing with one another. But some of these things we don't take time to reflect and transfer them into things that we do daily in life. This Bismillah معناه meaning الالتجاء إلى الله بعلمه وقدرته. That you are giving your whole self to the Almighty because He has 2 qualities that are absolutely relevant for your life. His knowledge and His power. Because whatever you're doing, He knows. And He has the power to make it happen. So you have to start with Him. 5 minutes down the shore. Then we'll continue tomorrow. We have more time. Don't worry. In respect of the knowledge of Allah, there is a particular text in Surah, the last text of Suratul Faatiha, which is the expressive uniqueness of Allah's knowledge. Allah says, "Inna Allah indahu ilmu as-sa'ah." That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has the knowledge of the day, the time of judgment. Uniquely, He has that knowledge. He cannot be compared to anyone. That is why in Mark 13:32, when Jesus was asked about the day of judgment, He said, "And of that day, nor that hour, not even the angels in heaven nor the Son, except the Father." So Allah says, "Inna Allah indahu ilmu as-sa'ah wa yunazzilu al-ghayth," and He causes the rain to fall. Wa ya'lamu ma fil arham, and He knows what is in the womb of a woman. In fact, today, through ultrasound device and other devices, they are able to determine the sex of the child. If Allah had said, وَيَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ, that He knows who, we call it ismul mawsul, relative pronoun. If He had used who, then the challenge of science today would have been relevant. But Allah didn't say He knows. He alone knows who is in the womb. He said He knows what. Because the relative pronoun what is wider in scope than who. If you ask who is this? Man, woman. What is it? Woman being tall and short. So what is wider in scope than who? And Allah uses what? So وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ, He knows what is in the womb. His knowledge is beyond bounds. Then He has power. Power. So when you say Bismillah, you are invoking the power of Allah to intervene in everything that you're doing. And there are 3 types of Allah's power. In Tawheed we have Izzatul Khalq, Izzatul Tanzim, wa Izzatul Qamr. We have the power of creativity, and we have the power of organization, and He has the power of destruction. In respect of the power of creativity, let me take you all the way to Quran chapter 30 verse 21, 22. Allah says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. From among His miracles in different tongues and colors for you. Power of Tanzeel, that is organizational ability. In Suratul Shura, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if He was to give human beings whatever they need in this world, they will cause confusion. So the text reads, وَلَوْ بَسَطَ اللَّهُ الرِّزْقَ لِعِبَادِهِ لَبَغَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ. That if Allah had given human beings whatever they wanted in this world, they would have caused confusion. But He gives, He provides as and when the person needs. And then again, as part of His organizational capacity, we take in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. Look at the wisdom of Allah in creation. We give out carbon dioxide and we take in oxygen. And plants give out oxygen and take in carbon dioxide. We give out carbon dioxide and the plants need carbon dioxide. We need oxygen, they breathe out oxygen. So we always have balance in creation. In terms of praise of God, He says, وَهُوَ الْقَاهِرُ فَوْقَ عِبَادِهِ. Quran chapter 6 verse 18. He has power over His servants. In December 2004, tsunami along the coast of Indonesia. Interestingly, the tsunami hit the portion of the shore where prostitutes and naked women were enjoying themselves. From a distance, they saw that the sea had turned black. They thought it was a reflection of the sky. It was moving in heavy waves. And before they could say Jack, everybody had been swept away. With towns and properties being destroyed. Only one mosque remained. That is the power of Allah. Power of destruction. If you do not fear Him, who else are you going to fear? And then sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates places that claim supremacy in this world. And I know BBC in 2005 carried a documentary on that particular incident. Hurricane Katrina in August 2005. That hurricane moved through Cuba. But because it had a target from the Almighty, it did not touch the Cubans. But went spread all the way into New Orleans. And inside New Orleans, you know, New Orleans has the highest number of homosexuals and lesbians. It left all the other cities. And when I hit the city hard, where we have people who have transgressed against the law. These are reason to fear the Creator. We'll continue tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Very much for this wonderful
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والمرسلات عرفا فالعاصفات عصفا والناشرات نشرا فالفارقات فرقا فالملقيات ذكرا عذرا أو نذرا إنما توعدون لواقع فإذا النجوم طمست وإذا السماء فرجت وإذا الجبال نسفت وإذا الرسل أقتت لأي يوم أجلت ليوم الفصل وما أدراك ما يوم الفصل ويل يومئذ للمكذبين ألم نهلك الأولين ثم نتبعهم الآخرين كذلك نفعل بالمجرمين ويل يومئذ للمكذبين ألم نخلقكم من ماء مهين فجعلناه في قرار مكين إلى قدر معلوم فقدرنا فنعم القادرون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين ألم نجعل الأرض كفاتا أحياء وأمواتا وجعلنا فيها رواسي شامخات وأسقيناكم ماء فراتا ويل يومئذ للمكذبين انطلقوا إلى ما كنتم به تكذبون انطلقوا إلى ظل ذي 3 شعب لا ظليل ولا يغني من اللهب إنها ترمي بشرر كالقصر كأنه جمالة صفر ويل يومئذ للمكذبين هذا يوم لا ينطقون
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المهتدون وأولئك هم المفلحون إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون صدق الله العظيم
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونشكره ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له هاديا مرشدا وأصلي وأسلم على الحبيب المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وبعد. All praises belong to the Almighty Allah. May His peace and blessings be upon the noble Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, his household followers, and all those who follow the path of Allah to the day of judgment. We'd like to thank Allah once again again for giving us the opportunity to be here this evening and to look at Suratul Faatiha. For want of time, we were only able to deal with Bismillah yesterday. Today, we'll do our best to cover enough ground so that we'll deal with the subject in its entirety. We pray once again for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless and protect each one of you here, your families, your wives and children, fathers and mothers, uncles and nephews, on all our families spread across the length and breadth of the world that belong to the Muslim fraternity. May Allah bless each one of us in this holy month. Yesterday, we looked at Bismillah. I was stated that when a Muslim says Bismillah, it means he is taking refuge in the knowledge of Allah and in the power of Allah. In respect of the knowledge of Allah, we look at a text, the last part of Suratul Faatiha, that's Quran 31, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes His uniqueness in certain words. He started by saying, "Inna Allah indahu ilmu as-sa'a," that Allah knows the time, the day of the hour of judgment. وَيُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثَ, and He causes the rain to fall. So He knows how and when the rain will fall. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ, and He knows what is in the womb of the woman. The last two bits of Allah's knowledge are intended to subject man to submission and humility against his wish, against the wish of man. So he poses two rhetoric questions. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا, that what soul knows that which he or she is going to get tomorrow. Nobody on the surface of the earth can answer that question. And then Allah poses another question. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ بِأَيِّ أَرْضٍ تَمُوتُ, and what soul knows the earth on which he or she is going to die. And by implication, who knows how and when he or she is going to die. These 5 key areas are called ilmun istaghfarallahu biha, that these are manifestations of knowledge that are the prerogative of the Almighty. No human being can put his or her nose into those 5 areas. The day of judgment, causing of rain and when the rain will fall, what is the womb of woman, what the individual will get tomorrow, and when the person or where the person will die. All these are only in the knowledge of Allah. So essentially, if you say Bismillah, then automatically you are submitting yourself to the knowledge of Allah. And when Allah knows, His other attributes will have to come into play to bring into fruition the thing that He knows. And that is His power. The power of Allah is of 4 categories. Yesterday I mentioned 3 instead of 4. We have Izzatul Khalq, the power to create. Izzatul Tanzim, the power to organize. Izzatul Imtina', the power to protect. And Izzatul Qadr, the power to destroy. I repeat, the first one is the power to create. The second, the power to organize. The third, the power to protect. And the fourth, the power to destroy. We'll deal a moment with each one of them. We move on to look at the word Allah. The word Allah is unique in Arabic language. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala poses the question in Quran, Holy Quran 1965, that hal ta'lamu lahu samiyya, do you know a name apart from this for him? subject. As far back as 1962 all the way to 63, the Roman Catholics have a conference they call Vatican Conference. They had the first Vatican Conference in 1862. The second one was in 1962 to 63. They call it Vatican II. During Vatican II, the Roman Catholic Church set up a committee because of the time Islam had received so much bombastic from the West and the Orientalists. They have spoken so much badly about Islam that it prompted the church to investigate what Islam is all about. So the church set up a committee of cardinals to work on Islam, what is that religion about? And it took them 7 years to do their job. And in 1970, they produced a 150-page document. And in that document, my beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, in that document, for the first time in the history of the Catholic Church, the document recognizes in the following words that Muhammad is part of the divine scheme of salvation for mankind. For the first time, the church is recognized. And then I see they were replying, the man at KJT was saying Allah is a big God in Makkah. They said, the document says, Allah to the average Muslim is the God of Abraham, the God of Moses, the God of Jacob, and the God of Jesus. But the preacher had forgotten that Allah is a corrupted form of Allah. Because English language phonetically doesn't have law. Law doesn't exist in English. I know English is a very flexible language. It adapts to any situation and carries with it any language. So when he said Allah is the biggest God, he doesn't know that that name Allah represents the Almighty. Of course, if you go into the Quran, there is one particular word you will come across that is also used for Allah. Ilah, la ilaha. So in this word, in this shahada, la ilaha, the ilaha there is written one small word. La ilaha. Some scholars write small word, others write big. But what they are trying to say is that we use that particular word for the small gods people worship in your home. In Arabic language, we use the same word ilah. And it is also in the same language used for the Almighty. So you will come across in Surah 43, 84, Suratul Faatiha, where Allah says, وَهُوَ الَّذِي فِي السَّمَاءِ إِلَهٌ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَهٌ. That He is the Lord who is out there and down here. And Allah didn't use the word Allah, He used Ilah. So the word Ilah, because it is used for idols too, in Arabic language, it has plural. It has plural. The plural is Aliha. And yesterday I quoted that when the Prophet said that Mushrikeen, the idol worshippers should worship only one God, one Lord, one Ilah, they were surprised. So they asked, Aja'al al-Aliha, that our seed made the gods in plural, Aliha, Ilahan wahida, one Lord, inna hada la shay'un rujaa. This is something of a surprise. How can He transform all the gods to be one? It is impossible. Dr. Abdullah Darras, you hear me quote him frequently because of all throughout my research. I've never come a scholar with such a wonderful brain on the study of the Holy Quran. A product of Azhar and a product of Sorbonne University. He took his master from Azhar University and went to Sorbonne to do a study on the Holy Quran. He has written an encyclopedia on morality. His PhD thesis was on morality. An encyclopedia, about 2,000 pages. That's some years back. He said that the word Allah, which represents the Almighty, doesn't have plural, not even a dual case. So you can't say Allah meaning two gods, Allahu meaning many gods. Blah, blah, blah. It's Allah. Sharawi says that in itself is a linguistic miracle, showing that beyond the name Allah, you can't find any name suitable for the Almighty, and that the word is not divisible. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. These are two wonderful words. We talk about diverse these names. Otherwise, the world will have come to a halt. Two words, Ar-Rahman and Rahim. Two words describing the Almighty. And they are all coming from one root, Ar-Rahman, which means compassion, mercy, sympathy. Ar-Rahman, they are all, the two of them, are all used in the extreme sense. That is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has unlimited compassion and mercy. In fact, when you look at the Arabic derivatives, linguistic derivatives of these two Arab words, you will realize that the word Rahman is more extreme in meaning than Rahim. That is why Allah created the heavens and the earth and holds them together, and all the creatures in them, they enjoy the Rahman status of Allah. They enjoy the Rahman status of Allah. That is why in a hadith of the Prophet, the Prophet says that, but for the rahmah of Allah, that even covers animals, birds and other creatures, if Allah were to exercise his powers and annoyance on us, visit his annoyance on us, because of the magnitude of the sins we commit each day, he would have destroyed all. But because of his rahmah, and because he knows there is a day of reckoning, the other name that he has, Ar-Rahim, is reserved for Muslims on the day of judgment. It is reserved for believers on the day of judgment. And he says therefore in Quran 33, Suratul Faatiha, verse 43, وَكَانَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَحِيمًا, and that he is compassionate on the believers on the day of judgment. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. We often translate it as all praises belong to the Almighty Allah. And as far as English is concerned, it is sufficient. Imam Tabari, in his interpretation of this text, Alhamdulillah, we start with that. Imam Tabari says, Ash-shukru lillahi khalisan duna sa'ir ma yu'bad min dunihi. That is a kind of gratitude that the individual shows to only Allah and not to anyone else. It is against this background that Umar ibn Khattab told some of the Sahaba, قَدْ عَلِمْنَا سُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَلَا إِلَهَ Alhamdulillah. Omar said, we knew the meaning of Subhanallah, glory to Allah. And we also knew, wa la ilaha illallah, there is no Lord worthy of worship except Allah. But what is the meaning of Alhamdulillah? Then Ali answered him, Kalimatun radiyallahu li nafsihi. That these are words that Allah said He's satisfied with. And then the Prophet in a hadith recorded by Imam Ibn Majah and narrated by Ibn Umar, he said, a servant just stood and thought through a lot of ideas, looking for words to express his gratitude to Allah. Then he himself on his own, he said, Ya Rab, laka al-hamd kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika wa 'azimi sultanik. That all praises are yours, kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika, as your position deserves. Wa 'azimi sultanik, and your power deserves. When he said this, according to the Prophet, two angels started fighting among themselves to write, the reward of this poor guy. Because the words were too many, were too heavy for them to even find the words to describe what the man had said. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angels, "Uktubaha kama qala 'abdi hatta yalqani fa ajzih biha." That write them the way he said it until he meets me, and I will appropriately reward him. The word Rabb means honor. We translate it in English, the Lord. It means Lord, Master, Controller. We have two types of it. When we say Rabb, then we are talking of Allah in two key areas: as the creator and as the sustainer. He does not only create, but he sustains. Al-Alamin, interestingly, we know of only one word, but the Quran is mentioning 4 words. It's mentioning Al-Alamin in plural sense. What are the other words? Yesterday, when we were putting across the strategies for our Tafsiir, we said we'll be using some text to interpret others. And there is one text in Quran 22, Suratul Faatiha, that explains Al-Alamin here. There are 4 worlds. There are 4 worlds. We have the world of things, and we have the world of plants, and we have the world of animals, and we have the world of man. We have the world of things. The world of things cover the moon, the sun, rainfall, rivers, the earth. All these are part of the world of things. Then we have the world of plants, cocoa, cassava, and the rest, grassland. Then we have the world of animals, and you know. And then we have the world of man, you and I. In fact, these 4 have been mentioned in that order by one text in the Quran. Quran 1:18 explains these 4. And I quote, Allah says, Alam tara anna Allah yasjudu lahu man fis samawati wa man fil ard. That is a categorical statement. Now Allah says that, don't you know that everything in the heavens and the earth is prostrate to Allah? Categorical statement. Now Allah is going to pick them. He has mentioned the heavens and the earth. So every creature. So he's not going to give us the categories. in Suratul Faatiha. So Allah says, وَالشَّمْسُ. So I'm going to mention the world of things, and I mentioned sunlight. I mentioned sun. So Allah says, وَالشَّمْسُ, the sun, وَالْقَمَرُ, and the moon, وَالنُّجُومُ, the stars, وَالْجِبَالُ, and the mountains. All these four belong to the world of things. And then he mentioned وَالشَّجَرُ, and trees, the world of plants. وَالدَّوَابُ, and walking animals, the world of animals. وَكَثِيرٌ مِنَ النَّاسِ, and a lot of people. So the world of things, the world of plants, the world of animals, and the world of man are all captured in this text. If you reflect further on the order of the arrangement of these things in the text, you will clearly see that every world is serving the other that comes after it. If you look at the world of things, and I mentioned rainfall, water, at least sunlight, moonlight, even wind, the stars, the sea, all these creatures, they serve the world of plants. When you plant, there is a particular process that goes on down there. And then when we send down rain on the earth, it turns it quivers, it shakes. That is the process of synthesis, photosynthesis. When you plant it, you see the earth shaking. You know, but something goes beneath the earth, goes up beneath the earth, and that is the process of photosynthesis in biology. It is a process through which plants manufacture their food, but we don't see it. So the world of plants relies on the world of fish for survival. And then the world of animals also rely on the world of plants for survival. So those of you who are rearing cattle and sheep, you need grassland for survival, for their survival. And then inshallah ta'ala, very soon, 2 or 3 months later, we're going to have Eid al-Adha. Then you get a cow, goat, sheep, and then you slaughter, you eat, and then you think, you're happy. So when you look at all these creatures, everything then comes up. The world of plants is serving the world of things is serving the world of plants. And the world of plants is serving the world of animals. And the world of animals is serving the world of man. So in short, all these worlds are serving man. So who is man going to serve? Controller. And ulama says al-muntasaf bi-sifat al-mulk mutlaqan, that the one who possesses control in its entirety, dominance, and he does whatever he wants. That's what the one we call al-Malik, and that's only Allah. So Malik Yawmiddin. Yawmiddin is the day of reckoning. In fact, the root word deen means accountability. And that is why when you owe somebody in Arabic language, if you owe somebody, we call it day. Day. You take a loan, normally technically we call it current. But when you are indebted, it means antamudin. You are indebted to somebody from the root, a deen. A deen means the day that you will account for your deeds. And in fact, in a hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah, this particular day, a lot of people are concocting things about the day. You don't need to go far. You just need one hadith of the Prophet for you to convince that the time is getting close. In a hadith narrated by Ibn Mas'ud on Alamat Sa', the signs of the hour, one of them is that the Prophet says that the world will become very filthy and very unpalatable for the believer, to the extent that if he wants to protect his iman, he has to go and stay in the bush with his wife and children. If there is any time, then it is this time. This is the time that the faith of the Muslim is under incessant onslaught. Everything around the Muslim today does not help him to increase in faith. Move from here to Makala, you will see haram 1,000 times. How do you increase in faith? You walk from the lady by your side is almost naked. How do you increase in faith? In schools, secondary schools, the mixed ones, they sit, boy, girl here, young girl 16 with her thighs exposed. Ah, are you an angel? You look. You're not an angel. All these circumstances around us challenge the iman that is in our heart. You open television for it to serve as a source of nourishment, intellectual nourishment, and education for yourself and children, and it is calamity. The Prophet said, when the time is getting close, one of the signs is that women will be naked. And people are complaining today that we have so many al-jinni visiting us in our homes. People are carried away today. People are carried away easily by al-jinn. I worked on one girl at Cape Coast, the daughter of my wife's sister. She was just sleeping in the open compound, and then she heard a voice in a manhole they had dug in the house. She went, looked inside, and that was her head. They looked for her 5 good hours. Around 1 o'clock that the incident occurred. 5 good hours, this girl was nowhere to be found. Just around Maghrib, she came home with dust all over her body and weeds. Where did you go? He said, I was taken to the bush and I met some multitudes. And the leader spoke to me, the resident talk. And they asked me questions about the family. So many questions. JSS 3 girl. The father went on her way to school. The father thought she had gone to school. They took her away again. So the father went to school. She was not in class. And it got repeated on Tuesday. The Wednesday, I was on my way to campus. There on the university campus. I was going to do a program on Radio Central for narcotics control. So I decided to visit them in their house. When I got there, they said, oh madam, we are happy you are here. We're even going to call you. So what's the problem? Then they gave me the story. The first question I asked them was, does the girl watch sexy films? And they said yes. And then they discovered it very lengthy that anytime they went to bed around 9, she had some CDs hidden somewhere. She would slot the CDs in, watch sometimes up to about 1 a.m. So anytime they woke her up around 5 or 5, they would find her dozing off. And then number 2, because they had silent tension here, They will have to threaten her with beating and that kind of before she will. Even ablution, she will spend about 10 to 15 minutes just standing performing ablution. So I told them because of the condition of the girl, I wasn't going anywhere. I'll spend the night with them, do some work on her, and the following the morning we'll also work on her again. But normally, when somebody is possessed in the early stages, it's not difficult. By the gym, it's not difficult. When you do some ruqyah, she will either feel pain in the head, the 2 hands, or the 2 feet. Consistently do 3, 4, 5 days, inshallah, with emphasis on Suratul Faatiha, the thing will go away. But if it has gotten seat inside there, it has become president of the body, then you have a battle to go. These things are happening to us because again, the thing they want most in this world is a naked woman. When a woman is naked in the house, they are happy. They will come and watch a book. Sometimes when they watch this thing. So television, naked woman. Drop, naked woman. Offices, naked woman. Campuses, naked woman. I was mentioning there's a bank on the UK USD campus. I went there, but I had to tell the manager, my brother, it's enough. I said, so here you telling me it's not discipline. Somebody you have employed and you are paying, this woman is almost naked. Why? Then he felt ashamed. He said, we'll act on it. We are dying in spirit. These are hard times, difficult times for us. Those who want to live and believe in Allah and live for Allah. These are hard times for us. But Malik Yawmiddin is waiting for us. This day, Allah is going to exhibit His power and will destroy everything according to the hadith of Abu Hurairah. Allah will destroy everything, including the angels. Because that is the day He has to change His power. He destroys everything. And He poses the question in Suratul Faatiha. So He asked, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ? It's a question from the Creator. He's asking, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ? That to whom does dominion and power belong? Who owns it? But because you are there, I'm there. All the angels are there. Who is going to answer Allah? So He has to answer Himself. So He provides the answer Himself. So He says, Lillahi al-wahid al-qahhar. And He brings in here the appropriate attribute. He said, Lillahi al-wahid al-qahhar. For Allah, power belongs to Allah, al-wahid, the only one, al-qahhar, the one who has the power to destroy. And indeed, He has destroyed everybody. The word Iyaka is above you, nobody else. Na'budu. We have 2 words here that we are putting each other. After Iyaka, we look at myself. The 2 of them. We have 1 word here. The first one is Iyaka na'budu. That you alone do we worship. Wa Iyaka nasta'in. And from you we seek assistance. 2 words here. Al-ibada wal-isti'ana billah. And the scholar who has done so much work on the meaning of worship in Islam is Ibn Taymiyyah. When he was asked about worship, he said, Al-ibada ismun jami' li kulli ma yuhibbu Allah wa yarda. The ibada is a comprehensive word that covers every disposition, of the believer. And he started mentioning as-salah, zakat, hajj, birrul walidain, doing good to the parents, being kind to others, trustworthiness, honesty, and the rest. He said all these are manifestations of ibadah. Meaning ibadah covers every aspect of the Muslim. But under certain conditions. Imagine when the Prophet was doing the hijrah, when he was doing the hijrah, Umar bin Khattab took his sword and ran through Mecca and said, yes, I am Umar. I believe in it. Anyone who thinks he is as bold as Umar should meet me on the way. And that person will forget the day his mother gave birth to him. Abdullah bin Jahsh was a wealthy person. He left all his properties in Mecca because of Islam. While in Medina with the Prophet, he heard that Abu Sufyan, before he became a Muslim,